welcome. Thank you for your time in being here. I say that every day, and I really do mean it. You know, there are so many things that we get involved with, and when I say we, I mean business people. You know, we have this to do and that to do, and 1,000 other things as well. So, you know, for me, you're in the top 10%, probably actually more like the top 1% who are going to actually take time out of their day to listen to something in the hope that it's of value. So my job is to make sure that it is of value and that you benefit from it. So that's what I want to try to do today. So I do these every day. I've been doing it now for, I don't know, it must be about a month, something like that. So Monday to Friday, 12:30 to 12:45. I keep it nice and short. So, you know, you're not sat on a meeting for an hour or something like that. You know, you can have a sandwich or a cup of coffee, have lunch while you're listening to me, and hopefully learn something. It streams on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on YouTube, which is really cool. So it's like, for me, it's do it once, benefit from it 3 times. And the great thing about this is, you know, this will be there forever. You know, in a year's time, in 5 years' time, you'll probably be able to find this on all those 3 platforms, which is great. So I'm creating marketing collateral while I'm doing it. Now, I want to be really clear. I'm not here to try and sell anything. The only thing I will say, as it says there below, if you want to book a meeting with me, you'd be very welcome to do so. We talk about your business, what you're doing, what's working, what's not, and maybe try and give you some advice and help to move things forward. So if you want to do that, great. If not, just sit back, relax, and enjoy these next 15 minutes. So today we're talking about social media being the key to your brand. What do I mean by that? You know, we all know what social media is. I'm sure we all probably use social media. But the truth of the matter is, you know, just talk about brand for a minute. You know, assuming you've got a well-established and a good brand, you know, your website looks great. You know, everything that you're doing is in sync with your website. You know, your business cards look like your website. Your marketing materials, leaflets, brochures, any of that stuff, again, is in sync. Even your, you know, the way your office looks is in sync with your brand. You know, if you look at my office here, you know, what are the colors on my website? Well, mainly black, white, and orange. They're the 3 main, or actually gold as we call it, 3 main predominant colors that you can see on my website. And if you look in the background, you know, there's a reason this stuff is this color. You know, it's not perfect, but, you know, I try to make it as good as possible. I always put my black shirt on, notice that, you know, to do these. And that's part of my brand, my personal brand. So, you know, that said, assuming that's okay, that's great, but we've got to get it out there. You know, that's the key. There's no point having a black shirt that nobody ever sees. There's no point having a website that nobody ever visits. And so we have got to become better at getting our marketing messages out there, and social media is just a fantastic way of doing that. There are really 2 sides to it, aren't there? You know, you can do the paid side. You can advertise on Facebook and LinkedIn and, you know, everywhere else. Or you can do it organically. You know, you can spend the time rather than the money, posting stuff out, getting it in front of your market, and so on. However, here lies the problems. And for those of you who read what today's all about, I said the problem is that most people are not doing it very well. They're not doing it very well. And you know, I talk to people all the time, and I say to them, so you doing quite, oh yeah, I'm on, so yeah, I'm on LinkedIn and you know, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and stuff. And I say, all right, so what's your return on investment? How much money you make? Well, we don't really, we've not really made anything. You know, it's about awareness. It's about brand, getting our brand out there. Well, yeah, okay. I prefer to leave that to Coca-Cola and Nike and places like that. I like to on social media overcome what I consider to be the biggest problem facing 99% of small businesses. In fact, I'm going to say 100% of small businesses. And that is one word, and that word is obscurity. That is your biggest problem right now. Nobody's ever heard of you, and nobody's ever heard of me. When I say nobody, that's not quite true. You know, I'm connected to loads of people on social. I got email and so on. I'd say I'm probably around about 100,000 people connected to me either through email or social media. Now you think, well, that's pretty amazing, Steve. And it's a lot more than me, because it is a lot more than 99% of businesses. However, if you looked at the fact that there are just over 3 million businesses in the UK, you can see what I mean. You know, 3 million businesses, and only 100,000 of them are being communicated by me on a reasonably regular basis. So now, okay, you know, I'm not trying to be, you know, market to every single business. You know, I've got my niches and stuff like that, my areas of focus, but you get the problem. That is a really big problem. And so I think, you know, social media is such a fantastic tool for doing this if it's done well. You know, if social media is done well, it should be a great tool. However, it's not. Generally speaking, social media, in my opinion, is not done very well. Let me just tell you a few of the things that I think are wrong. Firstly, people don't do enough of it. It's as simple as that. You know, don't do enough. I hear people all the time, well, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't do very much. Or I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really know how to use it that well. You know, well, it's no excuse. You know, go and learn. You know, sign up to my results school and learn how to do it. I said I wasn't going to do an advert, didn't I? But, you know, go and sign up to somebody else's, anybody's. Go and watch a YouTube video. Go and buy a book. Go and, you know, find out more about what is costing you a load of money. You know, I make over 100 grand a year from LinkedIn, £100,000 a year. From LinkedIn. I say that not to impress you, just to impress upon you. Now, I've got clients who made a lot more than that. I had one guy made 42 million quid, 42 million pounds from attending my one-day workshop. I should have charged him or been on commission or something, but you know, you understand where I'm coming from. So do more is my number one tip. Now, how much more? Well, I'd suggest if you're posting once a week, if you're posting once a month, you need to post 2 or 3 times a week, at least. If you're posting once a week, you need to be posting every day. If you're posting every day, you need to be posting at least 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, at least. People go, what? What? You're joking, Steve? No, I'm not joking. If you go and listen to any of the, you know, the real movers and shakers. The other day, I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk, right? I mean, this guy is like, you know, multi-millionaire business guy. And he's posting 15 to 20 times every day on every single social media platform. The same with Frank Kern. The same with Grant Cardone. Now, you say, well, that's easy for them, Steve. They've probably got a team of people doing it. Yeah, and I'm sure they have. But I also know they do it themselves individually. They're out there, you know, traveling around, taking pictures, doing videos, and all that sort of stuff on a very, very, very regular basis. So, you know, do more. Whatever you can do, just do more. If you, as I say, if you're doing it monthly, you know, you might as well just stop, basically, because it probably won't ever win you any business. If you're doing it weekly, let's crank it up a bit. Let's get those messages out. The other thing I'd say is that people often post and you get these posts, I'm sure you've seen them, where they're like, you know, it's like War and Peace. You know, it's like a massive, great big article. You get that a lot on LinkedIn. And I think to myself, why don't you turn that into an article that could be in a newsletter rather than just posting it all out? Because you know what? Nobody's reading it. Nobody is reading it. You might say, well, it's got 200 views. Yeah, but has it really had 200 people read it? The answer is probably not. My belief, and I know this to be true, is that it is far better to take that article. You could add it as an article on LinkedIn, but I'd advise take the article, add it to your blog post on your website, and then use LinkedIn as teaser copy in order to get people to go to your website. So I'll give you an example. I might do let's say, the 6 biggest mistakes that people make with SEO. Right, that's an article. I could add it to LinkedIn and people might read it, but I doubt whether they would. Certainly not all the people that allegedly LinkedIn say tell me have read it will have read it. But I go to stick it on my website, on my blog, and then I create a link from LinkedIn to my blog post. And in that link, it says something like, I've just written a blog post. It's called The 6 Biggest Mistakes That People Make with SEO. Thought you might find it of interest. Here's a link. Now, what does that do? That gets maybe, let's say 200 people see that. That gets 20 of them to go to my website. Well, what happens then? Well, on my website, some of them will read it, some of them won't. They'll think it's not of interest to them and so on, and click off and go elsewhere. But some of them will read it. And some of them will also get a little bit nosy. They'll go and have a nosy round my website. Oh, what else does Steve do? Oh, he does that. Okay, let's get in touch. Let's give him a call. Now, also on my blog post, again, really importantly, this is that there are actions to take. This is not just a blog post with the 6 things you need to do. This is like, I might say, if you like a review of your SEO, book a meeting with me. If you want to follow me on YouTube, then do so here. If you'd like to sign up to my podcast, then do that here. Here's another link. Yeah. So there's like 3 or 4 links at least on my podcast with CTAs or calls to action. So important point, on your social media, you should never, ever, ever do a social media post without a CTA, without the call to action, without telling them to do something. Go here to find out more. Watch this video here. Go and sign up for this LinkedIn Live that's running tomorrow, and so on and so forth. And you should have at least four calls to action, right? Not always, actually. I would say not always, but certainly by the time they've clicked on your social media post and gone to your website and read your blog post, they will definitely have had 4 calls to action. They'll have been told to do 4 different things, and people will. If you ask, you shall receive, as the good book says. So not often enough. Too long is definitely a fault, and not having a call to action is definitely a fault. I'm often told that you shouldn't sell on social media. Why the hell not? That's why I'm on there. The day I decide to retire will be the day I close all my social media down, possibly with the exception of Facebook, where I'm connected to a few of my old table tennis friends and people like that. But I'll get rid of, all the people who are, friends on Facebook, but not really friends. We've never really spoken and so on. And I just use it for my own personal use. Okay, so why am I on there then? Why am I on LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and so on and so forth? I want to win business. Now, I don't recommend that you go on there and go, do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? Do you want to buy something else? That is also not the way of doing it. What I believe, and I learned this from Frank Kern. If you don't know who Frank is, Frank's, in my opinion, certainly in the top 3 or 4 marketers in the world. He's very, very clever guy, great, really good guy. Fully recommend Frank to you. And he said the key on social media is to wrap content. Sorry, got that the wrong way around. Wrap the offer in content. Wrap the offer in content. So let me give you an example of what we actually mean there. So if I was, I don't know, if I was trying to promote people to, I'll use my results school as an example, right? So I've got this program, it's, you know, it's 25 quid a month that gives you a load of training and advice and help and with your sales and marketing business growth. So I might go on to perhaps a video, or it could be just written word on LinkedIn, and I'd say something like this. Today, I'd like to talk to you about how to get more people to your website. Before I do that, let me just tell you a little bit about my results school. In fact, what I'm going to do is to create a link just below this post so you can find out more. I hope that's okay. So here are my 5 tips, 5 links, and so on. So I go, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5. So I deliver that. Perhaps this is on a video. And then underneath that, I'd say, I hope you enjoyed the 5 tips. And if you want to know more, then don't forget, go to the Results Mastery School, and here's the link to it. So what I've done is I've told them what I'm going to tell them. I've then almost like gone, oh, by the way, just before I go into that, let me just tell you about this. I've then gone, right, let me tell you about the main thing that I was going to talk about. And then at the end, I've gone back to this, oh, yeah, don't forget my Results Mastery School. Go and have a look at that. You get that? So that's a structure that you could use. It's like 4 steps. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Then do this like, oh, by the way, just before I talk about that, then give, right, okay, back to the content, the 6 ways. So back to that. And then you go back to the to reiterate at the end. Now, the reason you do the pitch, as it were, second, right at the front, is that not everybody's going to read to the bottom of the article. Not everybody's going to watch to the end of the video. Okay, so we do that at the beginning. Note that I offered you in this. I offered you the opportunity to meet up right at the beginning. I didn't leave it to the end because not everybody's going to get to the end. Does that make sense? Again, I'm hallucinating that it does. So what else can I tell you? Okay, here's a good one. Questions. Questions are really good. Create questions. Ask people what they think. Whether that's doing stuff like, I've just developed a new page on my website. Could anyone give me some feedback, please? We could do that. Or I think this, what do you think? And what we're after is conversations. That's what we're after. If I say something that's of interest, if I said to you, the biggest mistake that I think that people are making in business is not doing this. What do you think? And potentially I get loads of people going, well, I think it's that, and I think it's something else, and I think it's something else because of this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden I've got 20, 30, 50, 100 people having a conversation with me and each other. And that's really what we want to try to create. We want to create that conversation. So there are loads more things I'm sure that I could be talking about. I've actually gone over my time. It's 20 minutes into the video now. So actually, let me just clarify. This is not a video. This is me live. It's now 12:50 on Tuesday, the 6th of June. It is me live, and but if you're watching it on video, then it is a video, because it'll be later than that, if that makes any sense at all. And I'm waffling now, so I'm gonna go. So thank you ever so much for listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your time, and I hope that's given you some food for thought. Just crank it up a little bit. Do more, and you'll get better results. Thanks very much for listening.